Welcome to Patanjali Yoga Meditation. Today we want to discuss difference between two terms that are called as Citta and Buddhi. These are components of our mind. The Vedic concept of mind has three constituent units, namely Buddhi, Ahankar, and Manas. This is coming from Kapil. He is the author of the Sankhya philosophy, and we can translate these three units as intellect, memory, and linkage. The last unit links to our sensory organs and motor organs. So schematically, it is like this. This is me, our self. That is the ultimate seat of our consciousness. And closest to it is the first unit, namely Buddhi, that is intellect. Next to it is Ahankar, that is our storage device where all the old data are residing, the memory, and even other impressions, how we experienced. When I eat a dish, I like it. So that leaves an impression. So all that is stored here. And then the third unit is that linkage, manas, that captures, it has 5 inlet ports, which captures the knowledge signals coming from our 5 sensory organs. And also it can activate our motor organs, hands, feet, and speech, etc. So this is overall what in Sankhya Kapil is writing. 13 instruments we have, 5 plus 5, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So these are 13 instruments that are always with me. Even when I die, they go with me. And when I come back into the world next life, the outer domain is the body domain. So only the body domain keeps changing. So here, as the title shows, the same unit Buddhi, that is where we do all our decision making. Or let me read the words so that, Kapil, the author of Sankhya, states that Buddhi functions as discrimination of knowledge. We always conclude this is this and not that. This is right and wrong, good and bad. All such dualities are decided here. So that is discrimination of knowledge as well as determination of action. What I want to do, that also all the decision making is here. Decision making in both the dimensions of knowledge and action. Now the question arises, because we are mainly benefiting from Patanjali's philosophy of Yoga Darshan that begins with Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So what he's saying is all the fluctuations on my chitta should be subdued. So he is referring to this very first unit of Buddhi as chitta. So that is the question we are asking. Why did Patanjali refer to Buddhi, intellect, as chitta? You know, I don't know how to translate into English. Many terms are very difficult to translate, but tentatively I will say it's a kind of a screen I am watching. So in Sanskrit there is a word chitta. Chitta is for picture. So it's like when you enter into a cinema hall, there is a white blank screen, and then it begins to display something on it. So that is what, our objective. So it, the challenge for one who is practicing Patanjali Yoga is how to bring that mind screen blank in its raw state, like the white screen in the cinema hall, because we are so much accustomed to, seeing something on it. In the daytime, of course, we are always processing something on that. That is buddhi operations. But even when you go to sleep, this is where dreams are displayed. So we always have become So you can look at it as our inner TV screen, and this is always displaying something. So when we practice Patanjali Yoga meditation, we want to learn how to switch off this inner TV, and that has its own benefits. So let's move on. Let us consider dreams. Dreams appear on Buddhi. The instrument basically is called Buddhi, buying systematic thinking operation. So to understand what Chitta is and why Patanjali called this first unit of Buddhi as Chitta, first let's look at what is happening in dreams. In dreams, we have to admit something is displayed here, but there is no systematic thinking operation. For example, someone had a dream, he saw a horse made of gold, made of gold. There is no such horse, is it not? But he had a dream like this, and nobody can deny. In our dreams, all sorts of things happen. So nobody will argue with him that there is no horse made of gold, you know, because nobody will tell him, why didn't you feel in dream that there cannot be such a horse? Uh, you know, then he will helplessly say it was a dream. I couldn't argue there that there can be no horse of gold. So I want to see the real horse and not a horse made of gold. Because that instrument is not quite functioning as buddhi. It is merely displaying something. So that's what we are saying. Buddhi does not exercise its discriminatory ability in dreams as it would normally do in the daytime. So in the daytime, if your mind displays horse made of gold, then you will tell yourself, no, no, this is not reality. There can never be such a thing. In other words, the instrument merely displayed something. In this particular case, a horse made of gold. So the instrument was not functioning at its full potential. Its full potential is to exercise discrimination. But it was not working. It was not exercising discrimination in dreams, and yet was not totally inactive. It was not totally switched off also because it is displaying something. So in such a state, the instrument buddhi is characterized as chitta. So I hope you understand it. So buddhi is that instrument that can exercise discrimination, systematic thinking, but there are certain situations, particularly we have discussed in dreams, that it is not capable or it is not exercising its full potential, but it is not totally inactive. So this is at a very bare minimum latent potential, it is functioning, and that is why it is called chitta. Now we move on to meditation because that is what is relevant to us. That's why Patanjali has used the term chitta for buddhi. We hope we can appreciate it better. So now we consider meditation. A beginner is instructed to be void of thoughts. Any beginner, we tell him, get away from thinking. Otherwise, you are letting this instrument function at its full potential, is it not? We want to subdue it to zero activity level, and that is called Niyodh state. So, that is our ultimate objective. And in our practice also, we say that you want to bring your mind blank as you are aware in your sushupti, deep dreamless state. So deep dreamless state is our benchmark. That is what we want to achieve in our meditation practice when there is nothing happening in my mind. So we tell a beginner, be still away from thoughts. But then what happens? If you are reasonably successful, you get rid of all the thoughts, but still some images begin to appear. They are beyond your control. Like we just now had a meditation practice. Something keeps coming there, popping out. It pops out from the second unit of Ahankar. That's and it comes here, we are struggling. No, no, I don't want it. Get away. But that's the practice of meditation. So helplessly we see that we have no control, and that's the control we want to gain. Finally, I want to learn how to switch off that inner TV. Absolutely, is it not? So let's move on. Indeed, the instructor may suggest superimposing an image and be focused on it. So, other than all arbitrary random images coming on your chitta, we say, Patanjali also suggests, that is called ekagya avastha, one pointedness. So, meditation can be viewed as in the daytime, mind has many, many things. So when we sit for meditation, we want to channelize our mind from many things to one thing. And what is our one thing here? That is mental recitation of that sound. So we want to stay focused on that. And then we hope we want to go into nothing. So meditation can be viewed as an exercise where we go from multiple things to one thing and then to nothing. So this is where all ball game is going on this instrument that is as such called as Buddhi. When it is working daytime at full potential, that is the most powerful instrument in the world, human intellect, and we are all blessed with it. But when we sit for meditation, we want to bring it to an absolute inactive level, is it not? So the instructor may suggest superimposing an image like we do it, that is mental recitation of that sound, and be focused on it. In such conditions, the instrument Buddhi is functioning at a bare minimum potential and is referred to as Chitta. And what we would like is to become absolutely non-functional, and that is a challenge, and that is what is our objective. Just to make the whole story in a different way, just, so for the layperson to understand it, I am describing something which we are all familiar with. A car is moving at a high speed, is driven by an engine, and then stops at the red light when you come to a crossroad. When the car does stop, but engine is still idling. So we are look at Buddhi as the engine. So Buddhi at its full potential is like engine is full potential driving the car at a high speed. But now that the car has stopped at the red light temporarily, you don't switch off the engine. The engine is still there at its bare minimum potential, what we call as idling speed. So you may look at Buddhi as, you know, as your discriminatory activity, daytime, but then it is like in an idling mode when we want to sit in the meditation. And then we also want to learn how to switch it off thoroughly. Like when we drive the car, return home, then we switch off thoroughly, is it not? So that's the kind of thing. Whether you look at our Buddhi, intellect, as an engine or as an inner TV, we basically want to become owner of our mind, is it not? This is my mind. So what is the ownership? If I know, if I am capable of switching it off when I want to. You get a driver license only when you are capable of stopping the car at a short notice. If you just know how to drive the car at a high speed, that doesn't give you a driver's license, is it not? So that's what we are learning in meditation. Thank you very much. We have discussed this mind with Buddhi, Ahankara, and Manas in a previous session. So in this session, we have understood what is the real difference between Buddhi and Chitta. Thank you very much.